Hello, everyone!
Welcome to Classroom Gaming in Real Life.
I'm Glen Irvin, also known as Senor Irvin, Irv Spanish.
My name is Connor Kropp. I am a senior at Wabasha Kellogg High School.
And what we're going to be talking about here is games and school. Specifically, well, let's go ahead and start off, Connor, by talking about what games are you playing right now?
Just recently I got into the Battlefield 1 beta that just opened a few days ago. I know you did too.
Yes.
Been playing it quite a bit. It's really fun. Great game.
Very exciting game.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you get a chance.
For sure. Battlefield 1, as soon as I got into it, I was total immersion as far as into the game. I had no idea what I was doing. I was getting shot left and right. Things were blowing up all around me, but it's definitely a game to be on the lookout here when the real version comes out. What other types of things have you been playing, Connor?
I've been playing Fallout 4 pretty consistently since it came out last. When was that?
About a year ago.
Yeah, I think we're getting.
It's been
there.
about a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But yeah, having fun with that. Mods recently came out on console, Xbox One, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's a lot of fun to just play around with different stuff.
Nice. I've been playing a lot of FIFA. I always play a lot of FIFA. 16 has been somewhat of a disappointment, but that doesn't mean I haven't put in hundreds of hours into it. I already purchased FIFA 17. Hopefully that's going to be the next level as far as the games go there too. And of course, we've been playing Minecraft.
Absolutely. When was the first time that you ever started playing Minecraft? When did you first hear about it?
The first time I ever heard about it was I had an iPod, if you can imagine. I had an iPod, and my son told me to go ahead and purchase the game. It cost $5 for that app.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not buying that. Most of the games were free. It was like Angry Bird time. Everything was about that. And eventually I did purchase the game, and my son played it. And then I eventually started playing it a little bit, but didn't quite get it, didn't quite understand what I was even doing or what the point was. Mm-hmm. What about you?
My story was actually pretty similar. Back on the old iPod Touch 4,
Yes.
And I remember we were going on sort of a school field trip, and we had a long bus ride, so I was looking for a new game to play, and I scrolling through the App Store, and I found Minecraft, and I looked through it, oh, that looks cool. Saw that it was $6,
Oh,
$5,
yeah.
and I was not about to spend $5 on a game, so I got the free version, and I don't know if anyone played the free version, but if you exited out of the app, it would delete all of your stuff.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, there were days when I couldn't open anything else on my iPod, or else my world would be gone.
So you just kept it going.
I kept it going.
Oh, wow.
And so I played a lot creative, and I was like, hey, look at this. This is cool. You can build stuff. And then I transitioned into survival and zombies and all crazy stuff like that. And yeah, that was my first experience.
Yeah, eventually when we ended up buying it for the 360, and we started playing, my son and I started playing, but then we also started involving my father-in-law, my son's grandfather, obviously, and we all started playing online, and that's when I was like, there's something powerful about this, because we'd be playing it over weekends, and playing multiplayer is really where it's at.
Absolutely,
yes.
Yeah. I did the same thing. I got the game on my Xbox 360 and played it with a lot of my friends, and we built some pretty crazy stuff, some huge projects, some little smaller things, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, and then I heard there was this college course that Dr. Haskell from Boise State University was teaching, and it was educational games and simulation. I took the class just because it sounded interesting. One of the first things we did is actually play Minecraft together as college students, and we were the students, and he obviously was the teacher, and we did several different worlds. And that's when I actually talked to you, Connor, at school. I was like, what do you think about bringing in Minecraft and doing some worlds for Spanish class? And actually, I mean, I figured you'd tell me, yeah, right. But you were very positive about that when we barely started at the beginning.
I remember you telling me, and I wasn't gonna say no, because of course, who doesn't want to play Minecraft in school? I wasn't completely convinced that it was gonna happen, but I I remember we kept getting closer and closer to actually getting the program.
Yes.
And you told me one day, I was sitting in the library and you came up to me and you said, well, I have the meeting tonight to see if we can get this approved. And I said, oh, that's great. And you said, well, I already bought it, and all the computers already have it, so I hope they say yes.
Yep, I went and pre-purchased everything. I just bought it myself. I was figuring, I hope they decide to go ahead and reimburse me because it was already it was a done deal. But yeah, the tech committee actually approved it, and then we were off and running. And really, I mean, I think the biggest part that made it successful was when I got to talk to you guys, and you were able to give me ideas about, okay, will this work? Will this not work? What's a better way of doing a whole bunch of different stuff that we started off with? So anyway, I'm going to go down to, since we're talking about games and school, I had some questions here. Basically, I was thinking about what makes games so much more entertaining, than just going to school. Because I want my students, obviously, to not just be entertained, but to be engaged, to want to go ahead and, number one, be there.
Yeah.
But number two, to participate and really be into it and have passion for whatever's happening in class, like the passion that we obviously have when we're playing games. So what do you think about what makes them so much more engaging? I guess more than entertaining, engaging.
See, the thing with school, the attitude a lot of kids have is, of course, no one really wants to go to school because they sort of see it as a chore and it's not a lot of fun. And the thing you hear a lot is that, well, teachers aren't there to make you have fun, which is true. But the other fact to remember is that you'll learn better if you're enjoying what you're doing.
Absolutely.
If you're learning in school how to do one thing, it can be dull or boring. But if you're playing a game and you're, say, improving a skill at archery, or you're learning skills doing that, you're still learning, but you're in a more positive, fun environment. So I think that's one of the key things.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about for you, because obviously you're bright, smart, and whatever it might be, but school isn't always super engaging for you. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that you're unique in that. I think a lot of our students throughout the nation, maybe throughout the entire world, they go to school, it's like what you have to do instead of it being like, I want to go do that. Yep. You know what I mean? You wake up and you're like, yeah, let's go do this.
Let's go to school.
And I was just thinking about what parts of games make them so engaging. Like Dr. Haskell taught us about, make sure that whatever you do, you give choice to students.
Yes.
You have to give them choices and abilities for them to choose their path. That's super, I would say, important, but it's also very difficult. For a teacher to go ahead and create that environment. Even till today, I don't think I really have a good, optimal where I want to be at as far as the ability for students to choose a path that will still be able to get them all of the standards, all the curriculum, all the stuff, but then they got to make the choices of how they went ahead and chose the specific assignments or whatever it might be, those kind of things.
It's definitely a big transition, I can imagine, for teachers to try to do what you did and go from being the teacher and saying, here is your assignment, this is how you're going to do it, and then you're going to turn it in. Where you have transitioned into, here is what I want you to be learning, here are vast amount of ways to do the assignment and to learn the material, and you pick what works best with you.
Yes, and I've tried to implement different things, as far as especially my Spanish 1 class, somewhat successful, but then not somewhat successful as far as having the XP and the achievement points. I'm redoing it again this year with some new ways of being, basically trying to get students to participate more in class. And rewarding them for those kind of behaviors that I really want as far as the class. But I was just thinking about different things, like teachers that create augmented reality games within their classroom, where they basically have this other thing that's kind of going on in their class, this different subset with students being able to seek out more information and unique items, Easter eggs, or those kinds of things, to basically, in the end, to engage their students and get that kind of passion that when I saw that Battlefield 1 beta downloading. I was like, I can't wait till that thing finishes downloading. And I want to open it up, and I was in there, and I was like, this is amazing.
That's the kind of drive that I think ultimately the goal for students at school to have is to want to learn, and they want to do it. And that's where I feel like games bring that feeling in, where a game, say like Minecraft, very open world, do your own thing, kids totally latch onto that because they can choose what they want to do, or versus a very quest-based game where even when it gives you stuff to do, you want to do it.
Exactly. And then like open world games, like we were talking about earlier, about open world games like Fallout or Skyrim, you know, those kind of games like that give you the ability to choose your path, even though there's obviously quests and storylines that you can go through. But if you just wanted to do whatever you want to do, you go do it, right? You just and that's the kind of stuff that I was just wondering about. Instead of us saying, okay, at school we have math, science, history, whatever it might be as far as certain subjects. It's almost like as a student you could just pick a specific thing that you're passionate about and expand in all of those areas. That would be cool to expand in all of those areas and be able to learn there too. I had another question here. It's like, what types of ideas do you have to gamify the entire schooling process? Because right now, school, number one, you have to go to school.
Yeah.
And that in itself creates an environment of, I have to be here.
Yep.
Versus, no, I chose to be here, you know, those kind of things.
Yeah, you should want to be there.
Yeah, and that's a tough one. I don't know how we change that kind of mentality without changing everything, you know, like rehashing, scrapping everything. And that's what I was putting here. Would it be possible, for example, to gamify attendance? Certain students, they could care less about you ever showing up. If it wasn't mandatory, they would just not come. But even some students, it's mandatory, and they still don't come.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, nah, I'll risk it. You know, I'll suffer through the consequences there. I put here a question: if you could start from scratch, what would you want school to look like? Just some of the items like you're like, okay, that would be cool if we could just do these certain things.
That's a good question. I always had this thought in my mind that it'd be cool if you could completely get all of your required classes, like for college, all of that high school stuff done by, say, 10th grade.
Yeah.
And by junior and senior year, you can sort of explore and figure out not only what you want to do after high school, but then start learning about that. I watched this very interesting video about a type of school. I'm not quite remembering what the name is, but they let the kids come in and they say, you learn whatever you want to learn. And it sounded crazy because then the kids they talk about this about 2-week period where the kids, they don't do anything. They sit there and they watch Netflix or they watch YouTube. But then about 2 weeks after that, they get bored. Yeah. They get bored of that. Like, so they actually start to become interested and say like, hey, this is what I want to look into this and I want to learn more about this. And they sort of start picking their own things, and the teachers are there not to give them assignments, but to help guide them in that direction. And I thought that sounded super awesome. And that sounds really cool.
Yes.
So that's what I would do if I could sort of do school the way I envision it. What would you do? How would you set it up?
So if I could just blow up the school process, no laws, no things governing anything else, when students would get off the bus, get out of their cars, walk into the school, immediately it would feel like you were in a quest-based adventure. You would have your name there and you would start making choices right then about things that you're passionate about. Those choices, like for me, would be like, you'd make a certain specific choice, like I really want to do this one thing. And then that would lead you to classroom 25, whatever it might be, and that would be a place where you would have a mentor there, or maybe several mentors, not just one teacher, but several teachers who would also be passionate about those specific topics. You could go in there and learn tons of different things, collaborate together, do some projects that they would be like global impact stuff, not like school impact, but
bigger.
Big stuff. And you'd be like, let's come up with some really big ideas and let's go ahead and do them.
Much like in video games like Skyrim, where if you have, like, say, like, hey, I'm going to play a mage, and you talk to people in the game, you tell them that, they're going to direct you to, hey, go to the College of Winterhold
Yes.
and learn under a bunch of the professors there, and they'll teach you, and so point you in different directions.
Absolutely.
Like that.
And then once you were, let's say you got into it halfway there, you're like, I'm not really too into this. I guess I made a wrong decision. You could always just say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and choose this different path and then go ahead and do those kinds of things so that every day that you woke up, this is what would be awesome, is you would want to go to this place.
Yeah.
That is the biggest shift, I think. Instead of saying, oh my goodness, I'm dreading, I got to drag myself to this place. Instead, everybody that's in that room or in that area is super passionate, ready to go out and work together to do something that's impactful.
Yeah.
You know, and personally impactful. I'm passionate about it, but then I can also make an impact community-wide or even globally. So yeah, anyway, next week we're going to go ahead and be talking about how to use commercial games in education. It's a topic that's hot right now. A lot of different schools and districts and teachers are turning to games that are already commercial games and saying, okay, what kind of pieces can we use from this, or can we use the whole game in education? Like, what are some of the kind of games that we're thinking about?
People have been talking a lot about, say, using stuff like Civilization 5 or games like Portal to teach you about physics or math.
Yes.
And different games and how you could pull things from those games to educate kids in school, much like we've done with Minecraft. Yeah,
I want to play games like Assassin's Creed because people are talking about the historical presence there. Is it similar, or do they create their own type of history?
Yeah.
All kinds of different types of games that exist out there. We're going to bring some in, and we're going to go ahead and talk about them next week. So, if you have questions, comments, or ideas for us for the show, make sure you reach out to Connor and I. Connor, your Twitter?
My Twitter is @ConnorKropp. That's ConnorKropp.
Yep, and it's on your screen right now. And you can follow me at Irv Spanish. Of course, follow Connor. Or you can go ahead and reach out to us at our Classroom Gaming in Real Life Twitter. And what is that one, Connor?
That's @GamingClassroom on Twitter.
Yes. You can find these videos right now. We're going to be posting them on YouTube, and we're going to try to figure out how to go ahead and post them as an iTunes podcast once we go ahead and get those, publish those there too. So go ahead and subscribe to all of those things. And that's all we've got for this week.
All right.
Adios.
See you next week.